Cool, so let's start. We don't have time, let's do it like startup. So it doesn't work. Okay, we'll try. So that's about me. We don't have time to introduce myself, so let's keep going. So first question is, what the hell is startup? If I would ask you, what the hell is startup? Who can answer? Okay, that's good, you know, because I don't. There are many definitions. If you type what is startup in Google, it will be like billions of results. I like those from Urban Dictionary. There is always like very true. But I will give you my definition in simple 3 points. The first one, it's company focused on growth. We want to deliver to the market as fast as possible. We want to be the quickest, we want to be innovator, and well, we want to be before our competition. The second one, it's focus on technology. Why? Because if you have new pizzeria in your neighborhood, that's probably not startup. And the third one is searching business model. So we still have no money. We need to have investors. We are looking for our business model, and that's how it's going. That's my definition of startup. You can have a little bit different. Google have many different, but I will follow that one. Now, you probably know that. It's like pick 2 from 3. Quality, speed, and price. And very often, we balance somewhere. But if you think about startup, it's like speed and price. We don't have money, and we need speed. So where is the place for quality? Well, if we talk about people, smart people working in startups, that's Richard Branson. Who knows Richard Branson? Okay. So more or less, he's like, for example, founder of Brown, I think it's Brown, F1 company in Formula 1, but doesn't matter. So even Richard Branson says that the cheapest and the fastest way is not always the best way. So if we talk about that approach, let's keep going. Now, let's start with step -1. Why step -1? Because it's more passive way, more passive approach, more passive what the company is doing. So at first, when you have the company and there is something going on not really fine, and the company thinks, oh, there is something wrong. We have lack of quality. We slow down. We have a lot of problems, a lot of returns from the people, from customers, from users. We need to do something. Now, why that actually happens? I have 4 reasons for you. The first one is, I called it, what the fuck. Why? Because it's when the customer says, that's not working for me. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want this application. I don't want to use this software, hardware. It can be whatever. The second one is, I have no name for that. It's about people. So people are frustrated. It's mostly about developers. Many returning tasks, lack of quality, a lot of time spent on stabilization, and so on. And you know, for me, frustration of people is even worse than frustrated customer, because people first. We need to develop something to deliver it to the customer. The third one is money, and that's probably the most accountable thing, and something that C-level and management are most interested in. And I think it makes no sense to explain why. And the fourth one is anything else that can cause C-level interest, and that depends on the context, because we can sell like cameras for pets, what I've been doing a year ago, you know, with laser and trees launcher, so to have fun with your pets remotely. But it can be whatever. Now, very often after that, there are 3 magical words arriving. Let's hire someone. Let's hire someone who will come, and that one person surely will save our quality, because that's how it's working, right? We have something that collapsed, that like technical debt aggregating from 3 years, and then that one person surely will fix it. Well, obvious. And then you come, or someone come, and we have step 0. Why? That's in a minute. I call it exploring and staffing. The first thing is answering, why the hell do we need more testers? We are a company focused on growth. We are a company focused on speed. We don't want to waste money, because like the only argument is that quality is cost. The QAs are cost. It doesn't bring direct value, but probably you can even now find the way, find the reason why we should have that person. Well, aggregating metrics, because metrics and numbers is something you cannot discuss with, you cannot argue with. And that's what I did, like aggregating statistics. What is important here, to count how much time you spend on activities that are boring, repetitive, something that doesn't really grow you. And it's about 70% if you calculate those three. It's nothing innovative. It's not like creating new processes, new approaches. It's just mostly clicking or attending meetings. The second one is, of course, money. If we can show something with the appendix having dollar or USD, surely that will bring the attention of your manager or of anyone who's responsible for product, for monetization. It can be whatever, but surely you can count those values. You can count and express it in dollars. Found what was wrong during the past few months. And the third one is prepare your roadmap. Prepare what would you like to achieve during the next couple of maybe months, maybe half a year, maybe a year. One important thing, do not base on the current capacity of people. Just prepare what would you like to achieve during the time. So your boundary is not number of people you have currently, but your boundary is what you would like to achieve in the next few months. And then probably you can adjust your plans, budget, and maybe, hopefully, find someone, find good people, and finally, having specialists, having good people, being able to basically work. And here we come to step number one, finally. Let's say it's beginning of presentation. Now, when you already have people, when you already can do something, it's time for action. And what does it mean to be great QA in startup? At first, it's being a great leader. One very important thing here, leader is not a position. It's state of mind, it's about skills, and it's about the approach. I'm not talking about managers, I'm talking about leadership. So what does it mean? Well, again, we have Richard Branson here, and that's probably my favorite sentence. It's like, employees come first. If you don't have employees wanting to work for you, probably they don't care about customer. And that's the sentence I would take the hammer and nail it into the head of management until it's understood. Now, the first thing is to help and protect. So if you have a chance to have your people and protect them from outside aspects, you know, we have context switching, we have disturbance, we have people coming and saying, could you like spend 5 minutes clicking that? It's a very short task, but it's never a short task. So you should protect, you should help them to achieve that. Then trust and give ownership. If I feel I'm responsible for something, if I have ownership for something, I do it much better because I know I have an influence. It's not like I'm a small part just delivering something and nobody really takes care. If you have ownership on something, that's extremely valuable. That's something I can take even if I'm not very experienced person. I can take that, maybe I can try to find help, but still I'm able to do something. That's my job, that's my piece of something, and maybe I can solve it on my own, or I can just find a solution asking for other people. And let them grow. Like, who of you have time to develop yourself at the company? That's good, but still that's less than half, which is not really good. It should be something that you can spend time on, you can learn new things, and that's win-win situation. Like you spend time, you grow yourself, very often in context of what the company is doing, and you are motivated because you feel like you are growing at that company. You feel like, oh, I'm like still developing myself at that company. Why should I leave it? If I feel like bored, if I feel like, meh, what's else for me? I'm just like doing the same stuff over and over again. Well, that's not the best employee. Gather metrics, that's the output from what you have seen previously. So now, what I called QA internal is spending time on creative activities. And that's your target point, comparing starting to target point. Now, that's being a great leader. The second aspect is being a great QA. Like, it's really nice to be a great QA or to be good QA when you are startup QA. First thing is always to put quality requirements into your stories, into your task, into your epics, whatever it is. It can be definition of done, definition of ready, non-functional requirements, whatever is suitable in your context. But if it's not you doing that, then probably no one will do it, because like I want to deliver product, and my job is not quality, and that's your job. You should take care of that. Now, get inspired and learn from the best. I mean, from the biggest players on the market, but never copy it all. That's the biggest problem companies are doing, like scaling the solution as a whole. So, for example, Spotify is having guilds. Spotify is having chapters. If you try to scale it to your company, that won't work, that's for sure. If you try to do what Amazon is doing, so deploying first and then testing, probably won't work, because you have different context. So it's good to use some parts, but never scale it all. Never copy the whole solution, because it's proper for one company only. And measure, observe, control, react. Again, something that you can show, that you can present, and that you can rely on. So it's just example. It can be whatever, but it should be done automatically. You don't want to spend times. You don't want to spend hours on reporting. You prefer to have continuous access to the current state. And then that's your point. You can say, OK, we have a problem here, and you can identify. And the last thing about being great QA in startup for me is to take care about risk. Risk is not very popular. Who of you is dealing with risk at the company? Looks like not many, or almost not at all. If you take care of risk, then you can, at first, always take the most important, the most risky thing. It's only about bugs, but you can do the same with different stuff. Why that's helpful? Because you can always take care of the most important stuff. And somehow you need to define what is the most important. And why? Because it's risk. It can be any risk, to not elaborate too much, but you should take care of that. But at first, educate. So you won't educate yourself, but you should educate others. And there was a presentation yesterday about software development lifecycle 2.0. And there was everything, everywhere, about educating and teaching others. And that's your job, to teach others about quality. Now, great leader, great QA, and I call it great fast mover. Fast mover is like you can adapt very quickly to changing environment, sometimes chaotic, of course, very frequently changing requirements, because it's startup, working on proof of concept, working on experiments, but that's reality. That's how you should approach. And the first thing, and that's crucial for me, learning from mistakes. And again, our friend Richard Branson saying that you should learn from mistakes. Now, why we should learn from mistakes? Because if you have freedom in making mistakes, of course, if you do it just once, if you do the same mistakes twice, 3 times, that's something wrong, and probably you are not the best employee. But if you have freedom to make a mistake, you are encouraged to explore, to make experiments, or to try new things. And you are not bounded to make decisions. And the second thing is being agile, not doing agile. What does it mean? Well, you adapt your approach depending on the context. So if you think or the Kanban thing, the Kanban is the best solution. Why not? Scrum, it's just the framework. It's not Bible, but many people treat it as Bible, like 17 pages Bible. But it should be Agile. And Agile means adapt or adjust yourself to changes. That's Agile. So be Agile. Don't do Agile. And the fourth thing, and I called it being influencer. We can call it being trendsetter. I have no bloody idea what is the difference between influencer and trendsetter. I know there is such difference because our target group is like children 12 to 18, and they know the difference, but I do not. So let's call it influencer, not trendsetter. What does it mean to be influencer? Because it's not about posting photos on Instagram, on Twitter, TikTok. I think this is the newest trendy thing. So at first, being a great speaker. It's not like you must to go on the stage, like having, I won't count you at now, and saying like, okay, that's now listening me, I have something to say. No, being a speaker is just to make a voice. It's to generating ideas, to say it loudly. Why? Because if you just say, if you test, if you click, and you do not generate ideas, you do not say it loudly, why someone should listen to you? You said nothing. You just sit and do your job. But you should be proactive. And there is a book, Stop Being Nice. I mean, I still encourage you to being nice in your private life, but being nice in your professional life sometimes is very harmful, because it's like the enemy of efficiency. Why? Because you want to have always good relationships, but sometimes you should say something loudly, and then that idea you generate should be heard and should be considered by others. And be proactive. Be proactive, talk to people. If you are not proactive, probably things won't happen because you didn't do anything. Well, I have one pro tip for you. If someone says, no, that's not a good way, we won't do it that way, well, say something. If you have any idea better than mine, let's try it. But if you have nothing to say, well, let's try mine at first. And why that? Because nobody came to me, never, saying, I have a better idea, let's try this one. And if you say that, that's like you are open for new approaches. But something you found out, probably you can experiment, and then if you fail, we are getting back to the previous point. If you fail, it's nothing really wrong. You can try another iteration, because Agile is still about iterating and improving. And one of the last things, fake it till you make it. Do you know that phrase? Okay, fake it till you make it, which means I will pretend I know it, which sounds a little bit funny, until I done it. But fake it till you make it is like when you try to do something and then you can sell it as an idea. And I did it many times. I said, I will learn you how to estimate tasks, having no bloody idea how to estimate tasks. But 2 weeks later, I just learned and teach people. And nobody even realized that I was not genius, not really people who should say about it. Now, what can you do? Well, sky's the limit. You can do whatever you do. Exploratory, BDD. BDD is very controversial, but that's all the approaches you can try, and it's up to you. Now, so what did you actually learn in this 20 minutes? So what does it mean to be a great startup agent? Well, being a great leader, being a great QA, being a great fast mover, and being a great influencer. And that's the sentence I want to take with you. Screw it, let's do it. That's not only sentence, that's title of book of Richard Branson as well. And it's call for action. So if you brought something for yourself from that presentation, even one thing among those like 10 or 20, just do it and screw it. Yeah, thanks for my heroes from the presentation. Like all of them are mine. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Dawid. Let's have a look on your questions. The first one, is this, as you said, hitting the management's head with the people-first approach working?
Not sure if I understand the question, but oh yeah, if it's working. Well, it's working if you try over and over again. I mean, if you say it once, let's take care about people and let's give them freedom. It won't work. Because like people want to earn money. C management want to earn money. Product people want to earn money. But you should give them the reason why they should take care of the people. If you have the reason, if you have, for example, metrics, which means numbers, people are like crazy about numbers. If you have real numbers and you can present it, well, that's your argument. That's how you can talk to people and you can discuss with them why that approach is fine.
Okay, let's move to the next one. Who you are in this startup? Where are you working? What's your role?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I want to answer that. Like being QA in a startup is being everyone who is needed. Startup is about mostly, very often, lack of resources. So if you need to be some kind of agile coach or some kind of people learning, teaching others, that's how you should do it. That's how you should behave. If you need to test, well, sure. I did a lot of DevOps at my previous company, which was fine, a lot of good lessons learned. So, and my title is now not really connected with what I'm doing every day. Like officially it's test automation manager, and the only lines of code I do is like at home, sitting with my cats. Why? Because there are much more important things. And it's just title, it's just position. And you should be aware of that you do what is the most important for the company.
Okay, let's check the next one from Maria. Seems that she had a lot of questions. Can you list 3 agile activities that are immediately visible in the startups?
There is nothing immediately visible, unfortunately, because there is always latency between what you actually start doing and how you should get the result. Getting back to the example with how to estimate tasks, if you want to see results, if the estimations are fine, if you need to adjust better, you need to have probably a couple of sprints, if we talk about Scrum. And couple of sprints means like 4, 6, 8 weeks. So I wouldn't say there are any activities visible immediately. Aggregating any metrics to make an action are like weeks as well. So the answer is I cannot mention any of 3 activities because there is no such activity.